Hello, it's Master Jerry Sassy Fonson. This is another episode of Anime Power Talk. Sport karate at the Dojine. Today we're going back to the days before I could vote. It's a long time ago. This is a person here who literally was one of the top fighters, but you're going to hear it from him. I'm going to ask him the past, the present, and the future, all the way from, I believe, Hawaii. I might be corrected. We'll find out. But when it's all said and done, you know his team, probably the winningest team of all time when it comes to not just competition, but also business and movies and all types of stuff. If you was lucky enough to have seen him fight, then you was really, truly blessed. I didn't get that opportunity to see him fight, but you know what? Maybe there's some videos or some 8mm around there that we can find. Without further ado, not sure if I'm calling him the right thing, but we'll find out. Grandmaster John Natividad, are you there, sir?
Yes, sir. I'm here. Master Fontanez.
How you doing, sir? I'm so excited. Never had an opportunity to actually speak to you, but you know what? I've always been a fan because obviously when it's all said and done, we stand on the shoulders of the pioneers and legends, sir, and I hope my sneakers don't hurt your shoulders.
Well, thank you for the compliments. There's people like you that hold it up and carry on the tradition. Hard knocks and good fights.
Well, I appreciate that. Well, let me just say this. I'm going to ask you, in the beginning, what it was, either your motivation, your inspiration, or your desperation to start off in the martial arts. And if for some reason you're going to hear me, sir, it's because I put myself on mute, because it's not about me, it's about you, for all of us to benefit from. So what was your motivation, inspiration, or desperation?
Well, my motivation and desperation was Chuck Norris. I was involved in gangs when I was younger, and one night we were at a park, and there was a big rumble going on between the Hawaiians and Mexicans. And so I ran around the corner, I ran into a building, into a place that had about 15 guys in pajama tops. So I walked in there, closed the door, and Chuck Norris came up and closed it and locked the door and said, "I know what you're doing. Now you got a choice. You can either get out of here by fighting 18 of my black belts, or you can sign up." I signed up.
Wait, I gotta stop. That's the best story I have ever heard. It was do or die, huh? Yeah, I figured out there's no way I could beat those 18 black belts. There's no way. I figured I signed up for it until I was a green belt and quit. But you figure you're gonna last for a few months and then you'll be able to sneak away, huh?
Yeah. But he was not only a mentor, he was a friend, he was good at instructor, and he checked on me on a weekly basis. Make sure I was out of trouble, make sure I was in classes.
That's a true instructor, mentor, and friend, and thank God for that, because otherwise we would have never had a chance to see this guy do his thing. Hey, how about we talk about, so approximately how old were you then? Where was this and what state? Which I think I know the answer, but just for my general
I was about 18 or 19 years old. I was in Southern California. I went to college there. One of Chuck Norris's first schools, they called it the Teacher School. It was a tune-up shop. It had on the plate glass window. If you think you're bad, step on in. If you think you're not, stay out. Those were the hard knock days that you had to be humble and you have to have a lot of humility, because those guys were good. I mean, those guys in those years, Young Yu, Joe Louis, and
let's talk about who were those 18 people. Mention some of those 18 people. I'm sure it's the who's who of sport karate / real world martial arts history, not counting movies. Name some.
Well, there was the guy named Jerry Taylor, who was my immediate instructor. He was from Hawaii. he was raided in the California area. 102. Then there was Victor Earl. There's Chris Oakey. There was Young Yu. There was Jerry Pennington, and people, other people, Chris Wells, other people that were within the clique, the people that were badass people.
Now, how about the other guys like the Howard Jacksons and stuff like that? When did you get a chance to interact with them, or the Darnell Garcias or Bob Wars? And did you ever have a chance to train?
Yeah, well, Bob Wall was a instructor of mine. Howard Jackson was in the Marine Corps, and then he decided to work out with us, and Chuck had him connect with me and Darnell Garcia and worked out with those guys. And he was coming up when I was coming up. Howard Jackson was, they called him the speed demon. You blink of an eye, he'd be right on top of you. Darnell Garcia had a good sidekick. We had a guy named Carlos Subaca. He was a 6 foot tall, bad Mexican guy, could fight. I mean, he hits you, he wake up your ancestors.
Oh my God! It sounds like you had a bunch of fun, huh?
Oh yeah, I mean, I was coming up. It was good that I had those guys to fight with, and those guys as I was coming up, because to be good, you have to fight the best. And
yeah, you was definitely blessed. You was blessed to be able to train with the best, no doubt about it.
Yeah. Chuck Norris used to line us up every Friday night. There'd be about 18 or 20 of us. When he was working out and when he was in competition, he would go from one line or at the bottom of the line to the top, 2 minutes each. By the time he gave us 1 or 2 breaths, he'd come back down. Somebody said, "Can you hit that hard?" I said, "Well, yeah. That's my great grandpa."
Oh man! All right, listen. Let me go a little further back. Only so like that we have a historical, chronological history on you, because I'm not being redundant, I guess. But you're originally from Hawaii. What island? Give me some background. What's your where you're from originally?
I grew up in Oahu, North Shore. I started at, I took a few classes in Kimball. When I graduated from high school, I went to California. I ended up in Southern California, and I got mixed up with some bad things, bad people. And not influential people. When I positive thing in my life was when I met Chuck Norris, and he continued on training me.
Right, let me mention some names. Thank God he saved you, because otherwise we wouldn't have you here today, right? Gotta watch you. You know, it's funny because I'm of Puerto Rican descent, so, and I know that there was a bunch of Puerto Ricans that immigrated over to the Hawaii Islands way back when, and islanders are islanders. We have a different blood. It's kind of crazy, but
the island people.
Doesn't matter if it's the Caribbean or the Polynesian. Doesn't matter, right?
Yeah, they're island people. They're fun-loving people.
Yeah, but don't get on the wrong side.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a chance to have Master Mike Stone come over to the Bronx, of all places, and have some food with me after he did a seminar. And right in the middle of the Bronx in the project, him and his wife had the best Italian food. He was comfortable.
Yeah.
Let me mention some names. I'm going to toss up some names, and then we're going to backtrack. If I mention someone like Mike Stone, what's the first few things you think about?
He was an inspiration to me. He was from Hawaii. I figured out, we come to the big mainland. And it doesn't matter where you're from. As long as you give all your heart and train hard. And my son was a guy that I wanted to be like. He inspired me. Good old Hawaiian guy. Won everything. Never lost.
It's hard.
Yeah, never lost a fight. And he was humble, and he was a perfect gentleman.
Very intelligent too. His concepts of fighting was different way before anybody thought. I know he worked on visualization. He worked on intimidation. He worked on the follow through, and he didn't lose because he didn't think that was possible. That wasn't on his agenda, which is pretty.
Yeah, well, we had guys like LG Claudio, Paul Spunda from my hometown, the Mike Stone and Burns White and myself. Guys that came from Hawaii to compete against the tough guys in the mainland. We still won.
Incredible. Okay, so now let me mention just a few people, only because, again, so, I consider you what you are, which is one of the pioneers and legends of the sport and martial arts in more ways than one. But in addition to that, you was both not just a student and an instructor and a team member and a consistent winner. So I know that you still, obviously, not just know, but remember. Thank God for our memory, right? Thank God for our memory. If I mention someone like Pat Johnson, what can you say about Pat Johnson?
Pat Johnson was a good gentleman, and he was an analytical person. He would compete and fight against you. He worked on your weaknesses. So he had the eye for the type of fighting that he wanted, that you fought him against. He knows where you're going to be at, what you're going to do.
So he studied you.
Yeah, he studied you.
Remember, he's a New Yorker. It's Buffalo, New York, but still New Yorkers, and they're different too.
Yeah, he was telling me. He told me that. He said, "I'm from New York, so we know how to hit somebody."
That's my problem. I'm a Puerto Rican from New York, So I've been kind of crazy for years. Now, you mentioned Byung Yu. Now, Byung Yu, was he a classmate? Did he come from Korea already doing martial arts? Give me a little information on Byung Yu.
Byung Yu, he was on when I first saw him, he was on a team of Koreans. He fought in the Pro-Am. And he used to come down to the studio, our teacher studio, Chuck Norris' studio, and work out once in a while. Guy was fast, and he had some good legs on him.
And if I remember correct, he was also older than most of you guys, too, right? Wasn't he?
What's that?
Byung Yu was older than most of you guys, I believe.
Yeah, he was in the generation between me and Darnell Garcia and those guys coming up. And the last generation was Mike Stone, Chuck Norris, Joe Louis. Even if Joe Louis was still competing.
Right. Well, you know what? Byung Yu knocked out the teeth of my favorite fighter of all time in terms of from New York City, the guy that I call the best pound-for-pound fighter from New York City. His name is, rest in peace, Sean William Oliver. And Byung Yu did a jumping back kick in 1974 at the All-Americans Henry Cho's tournament and knocked his teeth out.
Yeah.
I'm going to put a photo up. He could fly. Couldn't he jump really high?
Yeah, he jumped over demonstrations. He jumped over 2 or 3 people and do a jump kick.
Incredible. I think the other guys used to jump pretty high. How about if I mention over in the East? Because if I mention someone like Joe Hayes. Yeah,
Joe Hayes, I used to read about him a lot. And Chuck Norris used to tell me he was quick, he was fast, and he was hard, too. He was a typical New Yorker.
He can also jump really high too. Thomas the Puppet, rest in peace. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. You Delgado.
Louis Delgado, rest in peace to him too. See, all those guys were my mentors. They were the ones that I wanted to go represent because there was at least 10 years between 1975 and 1985 that there wasn't any. The New York pretty much stood on his own, and there weren't any nationally rated New Yorkers. So I was able to do it. I was fortunate enough to do it in 1986. So I did it to try to represent for everybody.
Darnell Garcia was Puerto Rican too.
I thought he was. Look at that. I thought he was Mexican. I just learned something.
He was Puerto Rican.
Woo! Oh man.
We used to be buddies, and he used to come up and he'd tell me, he said, "John, I'm an island boy too. I'm from Puerto Rico." I go,
Puerto Rico, baby.
I looked at him. I said, "You don't have to apologize." Yeah, him and we were good buddies with me, Darnell. We used to run around. Me, Darnell, and Howard Jackson and Ralph Alegria.
Wow.
All those guys.
Wow.
Yeah, and you talk about United Nations. We're we used to tell Howard Jackson, the fastest man that beat Bill Wallace on his kick.
Incredible.
I said, Howard, no wonder you can beat Bill Wallace. You're small. You're short. You get under that leg and hit him.
Hey, how about if I say somebody like Jeff Smith? What can you say about Jeff Smith?
Oh, I hated fighting that guy. I love him like a brother, but we used to fight all the time. I mean, Jeff, when he hits you on your blocks, he still makes your ancestors wake up. Jeff could hit like a mule.
Oh, man, but he has a big head, so that's probably part of it, you know?
Yeah. I used to laugh at him. I said, Jeff, why you hit me so hard? He said, that's the way I fight. Back East guys fight like that.
Oh, man. But you know what's so funny? That Jeff Smith, the D.C. bomber, is really from Texas. So that's part of that Taekwondo, Alan Steen, June Reed, first generation mindset, you know?
Yeah. Pat Worley and John Worley and all those guys, Jim Buten. I used to love fighting those guys because those guys will fight you hard.
Right.
And they wouldn't give you your quota. You know, I told Jeff one time, I told him, where'd you learn that? Where'd you learn how to punch so hard? He looked at me, he says, because I want to hit you hard. You don't cry like a baby.
Hey, so if you had to say who is your most difficult competitors, and I know there's a whole bunch of them, but if you could pick three, who would you say are your three most difficult competitors, and why?
Fred Rand was my first. He was rated number 5 when my first national fight against somebody national ranking. He was difficult and he was hard. He grabbed you and bounced you around and throw you around. You know, it was those Texas guys. They like to rough and tumble you.
That was the whirlwind, right? The whirlwind, right?
Yeah, whirlwind, Fred Rand. Then there was Joe Louis. I'm gonna put a picture of me and Mr. Joe Louis, because he's the one that taught me how to fake reposition and do angles. I'm gonna put his photo. Today is Thursday, so on Facebook I'm gonna put a throwback Thursday photo of me and Joe Louis back in 1986. This is my Joe Louis stories. I was his assistant 3 times in a row in about a year and a half at his seminars.
at this seminar, he whispered to me, "Slow down. You're making me look bad." And I said, "Yes, I got it." Yeah. But he's the one that taught me. So what do you think? Yeah. What do you think about him?
I used to love to fight him because he was the first guy that I know that used angles and broken rhythm. You know, rhythm. That it was difficult. It was hard to fight because he was built like Adonis.
Mm-hmm.
Like Adonis. But the people, when he used to come down to see you, people used to ask me, why do I like fighting Joe Louis? Because he fought you hard. Because you have to learn from the best. Because and Joe always had good things to say. He said, "You're moving good, but if you're gonna hit me hard. Let me know that you're there." He was always complimenting.
Let me know you're there.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Incredible. Okay, so you got Fredman, you have Joe Louis. Who else can you mention in terms of hard or favorite? Benny, the Jet.
Benny Quay's the Jet. I mean, that guy could do somersault as you moved in. He was so quick, blank, and he jumped over my head. I used to tell him, and he used to teach me, show me some of his techniques. I said, for guys that were coming up, I mean, I learned everything from all those guys. Benny had good timing, good movements, and he had combinations.
Right. Well, he had to make up for his height, right? He had to make up for his height.
Yeah, well, he was good at that. He had the speed, he had the movements, he had the combinations.
Yeah, he had the heart too, right? But and then again, let me throw a name. How about Arnold Okides?
Arnold I didn't like fighting him. Arnold was just bad. But he was a good gentleman. I know the whole family. The whole family was tough. And they treated you. I had a couple dinners with them, and mothers used to come up and tell me, "Come on over and grab something to eat." Their whole family were good families, and they were good fighters, all of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's the number. I'm just going to ask you for one more person, only because, and I'm not sure, how many times you saw him, but he's one of my mentors and probably, best friends. And he just finished calling a few seconds ago, but I had to ignore that call because I'm on the phone with you, obviously. And that's Mr. Joe Corley.
Oh, Joe Corley. Joe's the first guy that I know that used his legs a lot. He was, first met him in the Battle of Atlanta. I used to watch him and know his movement. Very intelligent person, very technical, and he's got great techniques. I taught guys like guys that coming up with Keith Vitelli.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all those guys. I mean, all those guys that came up under him, worked out with him, were good.
Wow. All right. So how about if I ask you this? Today it seems like you're in Las Vegas. Give me a little history. After California, when did you relocate? What happened in the last 30 years or whatever it is?
I moved, I think it was when I retired, 76, or I retired in 76, 77, 78. I moved to Vegas because I got a academic scholarship to go to college at UNLV. So I figured, well, I wanted to think about what I was going to do in the future. So I went to school. Ed Parker told me, You got the physical movements. Now, get the intelligence behind it. Education is important. He told me that. You know, so I said, okay, I'll do that. Chuck Norris had told me one time, if you can get a black belt, if you can go through 4 years of humiliation, being yelled at, screamed at, just like a drill instructor, you can just do anything in the world.
Good advice, I would say. Good advice.
Yeah.
Now, did you ever open up a karate or a taekwondo school or tang soo do school?
Yeah, I opened up a school here in Vegas. I had it for 20 years, and I turned everything over to my black belts. I still teach once a week over there, and plus I go to and I do seminars around the Western States area.
Wonderful.
Let them know. You know, I tell them, people, you go out there and don't pretend to hit somebody. What stops pain on you is create pain on the other person.
Mm. Well, it's supposed to be a contact sport, right? It seems like it might not be with some of the stuff that's happened throughout the years, but it's supposed to be able to stop people from hurting you for real in the street situation, and that's supposed to be a simulation of it. That's what I believe, though, you know, but other people believe otherwise.
Well, you know, they called it a point. In the old days, rough and tumble days, a point meant me not breaking your jaw or breaking a rib. That's control.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Hey, who would you say? Let's go over to the girl side right now. Mention a few ladies that might be memorable to you in terms of the martial arts.
Kupasan, Moore, what's her name? Emerson, and Bermudez.
Marion Bermudez. And it must have been a young little Lily Akita. She was young back in those days too, right?
Lillian Ukita was in a class of her own. I mean, people were, even I was afraid of her. Yeah, she was tough.
Oh, that's so funny. Do you know who's Linda Denley? She came a little after, but
yeah, my good friend Linda. Linda was tough too.
Mm.
I asked her for a kiss. I asked her for a kiss one time. She said, "Natividad, if you can block my punch, you can kiss me." I didn't try it. She's a good woman.
I love Linda. The only thing is that she looks the same since the 1970s. What the hell? She never aged.
Yeah. No, I have to tell her to send some of that bottle stuff over to us. You know,
I just had an interview with Malaya the Casco Vanel, and she looks damn young too. What the heck is that about?
Yeah. I would just tell those people, hey, listen, just because, you know, we're up in age doesn't mean we have to look old. Send us some of that lotion.
They got the snake oil, man. Yeah,
they have that beauty that keeps them looking young. I said, no wonder. I don't want them around me. They make my heart skip a beat.
I agree. I agree. Oh my God. Hey, so now when you're in Vegas, I don't know if you know this gentleman, and I apologize for not knowing every one of your students, but there's a gentleman that's part of the Chuck Norris operation, or at least who used to be. His name is Stan Witch. Do you know who he is?
Yeah, I know who he is.
Okay. Was he a student of yours? Yeah.
He runs the USAA tournament out here.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
was he ever a student? Yeah.
He's okay. He runs a lot. He does a lot of business with the martial arts out here.
Yeah. Well, I guess my question was he ever one of your students or anything like that? Only because when I think about Vegas and Chuck Norris, I think about you. I didn't.
No.
Okay.
He was under Ken Gallagher.
Oh, okay.
Ken Gallagher, who was at that time was the vice president of the United Fighting Arts Federation, Chuck Norris's group.
Oh, okay. Hey, check this out. And again, you and I never spoke, but I've been involved in martial arts for a while, and I've been fortunate enough to be pretty successful.
Oh, I know. I used to read a lot about you. That's me.
Get out of here.
Yeah. Fast feet.
Oh my God! You're gonna make me. Oh my God! You see, this is okay.
I love somebody that uses their legs as quickly as you and I did. You had a lot of techniques. Bill Wallace used to say. I got left leg round kick faster than you. I said, see, Bill, I got two legs. That's another good friend of mine.
Yeah, well, Bill Wallace right now, he's doing a seminar in South Carolina this weekend for Jesse Bowen over there.
Yeah.
So when he comes back, I'll be interviewing him also. But yeah, I am. This is something that, guys, those of you listening, please understand this. I'm speaking to a gentleman who I never officially had a chance to meet, but I've always been a fan of because he was. This was the Puerto Ricans were called this was a papi chulo. This handsome freaking Asian dude that looked like a movie star. And he was part of this team. This is the guy that if Bruce Lee stood next to him, Bruce Lee wasn't the handsome guy. It was the Natividad, I know he drove the women crazy. In the meantime, he fought like a demon.
I used to see him next to Donald Garcia. I said, Donald, we're both island guys. He goes, yeah. I said, but they like me better because I got the smile.
Oh, my God. That's so funny. But for me, in knowing that in martial arts we all extended family members, when anybody knows who I am, it freaks me out because I don't know who knows me, and I don't care about, the Fast Feet is a character, obviously, that knew trade, and it was a combination of making believe I was all these different people. I had to read the magazines and visualize what you guys were doing, and that really made it, where I didn't know what you was doing. I knew what they were doing in New York. But New York was always different, hardcore but different. But the kickers and the movers. My instructor was Sang Soo Tiger Kim. And, I came up with Murakon Tang Sudor, so that's where I had a chance to, learn how to do these kicks and stuff like that. But to do it as a competitor, I had to look at guys like, Bill Wallace and my era. I was watching Keith Vitale and Ray McCallum and people like that, But
Ray
to know
that's a good, hard man.
No doubt about it.
Yeah, and a good gentleman, too. And Ray's the type of guy, if he doesn't like you, he doesn't like you. He's a good old Texas boy.
Yeah. How about his instructor, rest in peace, Demetrius the Greek? You had a chance to, what do you think about him?
Great man.
Yeah.
Great man. To get that training and still and there's students coming up, that's hard to do. To have people carry your agency, your techniques, you forward to the future.
Incredible. The amount of people, I just recently interviewed Rudy Smetley. I interviewed Ray McCallum. Later on today, I'm doing Troy Dorsey. And hopefully I'll be able to find someone like Cliff Thomas and Billy Jack Jackson. There's so many people that came from the same leg, even though they were Alan Steen, June Reed, Tex Rondeau, Pat Burrow, so forth. But him in particular, he only had a handful of students, and all of them are legends themselves. So you're right. I would have to agree. But that's the same thing with Mr. Norris. You know, Mr. Norris had so many champions that, hey, listen, my competitor and my nemesis, and I'm proud to say I do have a winning record against, was Chip Wright. You know, Chip Wright, to me, Chip Norris, the closest thing.
Chip Wright, Chip Wright. I mean, he had everything. He could jump, he could kick, he had the timing, you know, and best of all, he looked like Chuck Norris.
That's what I mean. Great person.
You know, I talked to him one time. He had the tournament up here with the UFAF organization. I said, Chip, you got to have all those techniques, and to boost it all, you got to look like Chuck Norris. Can't you just have half of
it? Incredible. Hey, listen, you know what I was able to do, which sounds crazy, but I invented a karate uniform you could wear in the street like a warm-up suit, right? And I did this back in 1997. And all of a sudden, for UFAF, for the WCL, and also for the Kickstart program, I made uniforms for Mr. Norris.
Good.
Yep, I was making uniforms for you. Like I said, UFAF, the World Combat League, the second year, I made the uniforms and the Kickstart program. So Mr. Norris has a few of my uniforms, which I think is kind of freaking cool, you know, to think that, you know, I never met him. We've been in the same room. We never had a conversation. He always had people around him. But my mentor and my public relations guy in the 1990s was a gentleman that was good friends with him, which was Grandmaster Aaron Banks.
Aaron Banks. Yeah, I remember him when I went to New York a couple times.
Yeah, so yeah.
And he had a good business mind.
Yeah, he brought Mr. Norris down. He brought, in 1967, I think he brought all those guys down, including it was Skipper Mullins, along with Mr. Norris and Stone and Lewis, and they won that at the World of Astoria.
Yeah. There's a lot of history there, a lot of tradition, a lot of people like you to carry that forward. You make sure it doesn't get watered down.
No, I can't help it. What I'm doing is the opposite. The reason I'm doing this, sir, one of the main reasons is because if I went to war and all I can have was 300 people in my army or my team, like the movie 300, you, Mr. Natividad, on my 300. I need you on my side, you know. Because I don't want you against me.
Yeah, no, thank you. I tell my students, my students once in a while, they ask me to go to a tournament. I said, if you can hit him, stop him. If you can't and you want to play the game, then you got to go someplace that they play the game good. If you want to rough and tumble, go to Texas or go back east.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys will hit you upside the head and look at you and smile.
Yeah, and try to stomp you to China. Hit the floor, you're in trouble.
Yeah. There's a big difference between slapping you upside the body or hitting you with a round kick or a heel kick.
Oh, man.
Like Mike Stone said, you pay $5 to fight me? That's an insult. I just think I will knock you out.
Oh, man, you know what? It seems to me that your energy and your passion is still there, and that's incredible. That's what keeps you young, I would think, those memories, and this is part of it. Those of you who are listening, again, you listen to. Now, sir, what's the title that you prefer to be addressed as in the karate, in the class?
Oh, they call me Master Natividad.
Very good. So Master Natividad is sharing some information now. And again, I'm going to be a little biased here because I'm really curious to find this out. And honestly, I'm I'm full of emotions right now. When you say the word the name Fast Feet, you messed me up. What do you know about that? I mean, I have no idea. So, what I bet you find out about that.
I used to read a lot about you and all your kicks and shit. You used to call me Elastic Legs Natividad. You know, I was amazed. You know, I tell people, I said, listen, look at my arm and look at my feet. You tell me people that can use their feet to eat, to grab the spoon and do everything that your hands can do. You can also be a good fighter. You can hit him with a side kick, double round kick, heel kick. You can move before they get to you. You were good at that. You were good and fast. Your legs and your kicks were good and fast. You know, people don't think that you can hurt somebody with that. You know, when I used to fight in the Japanese tournament and then you hit somebody with a round kick, they tell you no good because your heel was up.
Right.
You know, I said the second time I knock them down, they tell me no good because your heel was up. I said, well, I knocked him down. You know, I mean, all the good hard fighters like you, we know we meet up to each other and extended family. We know guys that won't give you a quota, guys that won't BS you, guys like Ray McCollum, guys like Jim Buten or Bill Wallace. You know, tell them, you know, to get in the top 10, you had to be good. These guys didn't give you that top 10 position. You had to fight.
Yeah, to earn
guys
it.
like Joe Lewis, you know, Roland Frederick, Chuck Lovin, or guys like that. I mean, you put them all in one room, and guys, I tell you what, so much power, so much force inside in one room. I was just proud to stand amongst them.
Right. And that's what this is all about. This is exactly what it's all about. My commitment is to do twofold. I want to interview and do power talks, whether it's over the phone or in person, depending on where I'm at. Right now I'm presently in Florida, so hopefully I'll get to see Wallace in person and do that. But the point is that I was at the Battle of Atlanta this year just as a spectator and judge, and I got interviewed 2 times for the so-called modern-day sport martial arts magazines, which is like videos. And they walked past at least 15 people before they should have interviewed me. And I felt so sad because those are the pioneers and legends that I looked up to. So there's a generation gap that I'm trying to help bridge between by sharing information and history of the facts. Otherwise, some of these facts will never, ever be exposed. And so those the people you mentioned, I literally am going to reach out to all of them the same way I did to you, sir, because I want to make sure that if they're around, that people know who they are. And hopefully I can inspire another 99 people. My goal is to get 100 people to be the actual interviewers because there's too many stories and I'm doing too much work. Like today I'm interviewing 4 people, you know. I mean, I'm doing I made a mistake, and I'm actually going to interview in 15 minutes. I'm going to interview Tony Lopez from Texas, you know.
Right.
So the people that I have an opportunity to speak to, I'm blown away because I never had this chance. But at the same time, I believe that people will get an opportunity now to see and hear, because when you go to Dojine.com / your last name Natividad, I'm going to have a page there with your photos. I'm going to go onto the internet, get pictures, get videos, whatever I have, so at least people will get a chance to see at your own webpage all your particulars, you know, because this is something that's important to me. As a fan of martial arts and being blessed by God to be able to be a participant, that's something different. But I'm just a fan that was, like you said, fortunate enough to be around some incredible beings that changed my life.
You're good. That's good. I mean, you're right. You know, there's a generation gap. There's some people who walk that don't know the history and tradition behind it. They don't know who Masoyama is. They don't know who Takaboti is. They don't know Mitchell Barbaro. He's from Batiste.
Yeah, I'm doing. Mitchell and I are gonna have a power talk next week. Cause he was the young guy part of Kiwan King, rest in peace. The guy that's difficult to get is Mike Warren. I didn't ask you about more. Yeah, let me ask you about Mike Warren.
Oh yeah, I fought him in St. Louis, I think it was. I used to hear a lot about Mike Warren. Mike Warren was he was great with his technique and great with his legs. I used to watch him and Bill Wallace. You know, and Bill used to tell me, watch out for Mike because he's got good legs. I said, oh, you guys from back east have got good legs. You know, and he was a gentleman. He's still a gentleman. I saw him a while back, and he's very, very humble and with all his accolades. You know, that's one gentleman that takes the martial arts to heart. It hurts him. It hurts me. It hurts Jeff Smith and all those guys to see tradition go by the wayside.
No respect.
You know, no respect, no humbleness. We grow up in a world full of tradition and history, and we promise to keep ourselves in that limelight. We promise to let the kids know as they were growing up. You know, there's more to it than kicking and punching. There's history, there's education. Why do you think when they first started in the old days, you cleaned the bathroom? You had to learn the values of whatever the martial arts taught you by step ladder. Your first thing was humility, humbleness, you know, and you respect. And you had to know a lot about your instructor. And your instructors, people that walked in, you had to address them. You had to know their history.
That's right.
You know, I tell people, I said, when I fought Joe Louis, they asked me, what do you know about him? I said, I played him in videotape in my mind 1,000 times. I read a lot about him. You have to know your enemies. You have to know who you're fighting. You just can't go in there and fight. You have to know what their moves, what their favorite tech is, where they're gonna move, what techniques they're favorite to. You have to know the enemy to at least have a chance to win.
Yeah, the strategy, the art of war. Know thy enemy, so you know what weapons to use. Did you say Bill Louis? Is that what you said? Bill Louis?
Bill what?
Who was it that you mentioned? I lost it for that. Was it Bill Louis? You said no.
No. Joe Louis.
Joe Louis. Yeah, I'll forget about it. I thought you said Bill Louis. That's William Louis. He was more like a forms guy too. But all right, yeah. Look, if it wasn't for Joe Louis, I would have never been fast feet because he's the one that showed me the fake repositions and angles and broken rhythm and those things that you mentioned. And I put that into a curriculum that today, if today what they're doing is called sport karate or point karate or tournament karate, then I say, well, what I did in my generation and people before me, they did something different. So if that's sport karate, then what we did was called sniper fighting. We were sharp, precise, and on point. And there was many different styles, not just everybody copying each other, you know. So snipers, dangerous, and that's who these people were to me because the sport is a different sport now. And I don't agree with it. So instead of, what do you think about that? When was the last time you seen a competition?
Oh, I stopped going to tournaments about 20 years ago. I went to a tournament, one of my students went to one about a month ago, and it reminds me of a time when Nate Parker looked at me and went to a tournament with him, and he told me, "You don't approve it?" I said, "I don't like it." I was taught if you hit somebody, you have to ask yourself whether it's going to work on the street or not.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not, you're dead. And he said, what happens when you have all the good guys step away from it? And I said, well, yeah. He goes, then you have all the bad guys, all the guys that don't learn from you guys.
Wow, that's what happens.
Yeah, that's what happens.
And you know something, that you're the first person to address that issue. And I can say this much, which really freaked me out. One of the biggest moments of my entire life was me competing in New York at the Budweiser Liberty Classic, and Mr. Parker was watching me fight. I won the division, but he was watching me fight, and I was blown away. He was such a intelligent and warm man.
Yeah.
What did you say about Mr. Parker?
Mr. Parker was a mentor. He was from Hawaii too, and he used to watch me all the time. And he used to tell me, get away from all the tung-su-do moves. Start learning what other things to do. You cannot. The pressure doesn't work unless it's open. You cannot take knowledge unless you accept it. There's other systems, other styles. Learn from all of them. Learn from all of the people that are your competitor against, because they're going to learn from you. Understand them. Talk to them. You never know somebody. He taught me. He said, you never know anyone unless you break bread with them.
Yeah. That's those are words of wisdom. Sorry, I'm going to be respectful of your time. Is there any people that you want to shout out or give some credit to or whatever you want? Because this is your opportunity now to sign off and say anything you want to say to anyone who's listening or students or what have you.
Yeah. I want to shout out to Bill Wallace and Jeff Smith. Leave those women alone. They're riding all over the country with their Harleys.
Man. So that's it. I guess Mr. Natividad was one of those guys that had a sense of humor and never lost it, huh?
No, you gotta have fun. Opportunities in this world that you have and that I have. You have the right to make sure the tradition doesn't run away from us. History can't. And if you're not having fun with it, then it's a chore. I'm blessed that I was amongst all those other guys, and I mentioned with Bill Wallace, with Jeff Smith, with Joe Lewis. History affords those who are having a lifetime of it. Those are my memories of them. Those guys, Joe Lewis, Bill Wallace, Jim Buten, all those guys have a sense of humor. All those champions, all you guys are blessed, and they have a sense of humor. I used to... Jim Buten, when I fought him in St. Louis, I saw him about a month ago. I said, yeah, I fought Jim Buten a while back in St. Louis. He beat the hell out of me. Buten looked at me and said, you were a giant killer. I said, Jim, I was smaller than you. You got to take it easy on me.
Oh, my God. Incredible. All right, sir, just one other question. Will it be possible in the future for us to revisit you maybe on some other specific questions and topics? Would that be possible someday?
My pleasure. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear how you doing, how things are going.
All right, wonderful. Just one last thing. In the famous words of some crazy Puerto Rican from the Bronx, when I say AB, Master Natividad, you say see ya. AB.
Okay. See ya.
Thank you very much. God bless you. Mahalo.
Thank you.
I think I said that right. Is that mahalo? Is that the right thing? Mahalo.
Yeah,
Y muchas
mahalo.
gracias. What does mahalo mean, by the way? Is that, I know that's a term of endearment, but what does it actually mean?
Means thank you, goodbye, just like aloha. Aloha means hello and goodbye.
Now, I also saw an interview where Brian Fung was interviewing you, and he said something else. He said mahalo, and he said another word after that. What was the other word?
I forgot. I think I meant mahalo nui nui.
Yeah, that's it.
More, yeah, it's meant thank you and forever.
Oh, wonderful. Well, mahalo noi noi.
Okay. Island boy, make sure you keep your island spirit with you.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to meeting you someday in person, so I'm really looking. I'm going to do whatever it takes to break some bread with you someday. You in Las Vegas, maybe one of those events. I'm going to figure it out.
Good. You got it. Yeah, that's a promise.
Yes, sir.